And we're live. Good evening to whoever's there. It is a little after 8:30, 8:33. So I wouldn't bet I said it'd be on 8:30. Anyhow, long day. Maddie's talking about his long day. I had a long day up at 4. Hey guys, up at 4, in work by 6, home at 4, fixing mowers till 8. So long day, but that's all right. Got to make some extra money. That's the way you do it. So, oh boy. What's up, Lucky? More Volkswagens today? James, good to see you. Hear you. See you, not hear you. See you. I finally got the sprocket from Oregon. Unbagging. Let's see how this one looks. The other one was out around 50,000s. Oregon. This one looks centered. You could tell the rim definitely looks centered on this one. The other one, it did not look centered at all. This one definitely looks centered. So I think we got a winner this time. So we'll see if HL wants me to send back the old one or what, but that's okay. Anywho, I just got done. What did I do? I did a Toro push mower, and it's the first time I've seen this. Toro recycler mowers have a special blade adapter that's only on Toros. It's about $20, and it's basically a tube with 2 pieces welded onto it. And the bottom piece, actually, you have a tube, then you have a welded piece where the blade goes. And on the top, you have to actually buy a spacer. Don't ask me why. You have to buy a spacer and stick it inside this piece and then put the bolt in. It's crazy. Anyway, what happens is piece of tubing that they use, they actually coin the side of the tube and coin a key into the ID. So it's not a key that's like, welded on or molded or anything like that. It's actually coined from the side. So you have an indentation like a Woodruff key indent on the outside, and on the inside, you have the indent of a key. Well, it's sheet metal. It's not that strong. So the guy actually sheared it off, and his complaint was, I would start the mower, I tighten the blade, put a new blade on, tighten it, start the mower, and the blade would fall off. He's like, why is the blade falling off? Well, because the rotation is opposite. It wasn't contacting the key, and, the motor was stronger than the bolt and spun the threads right out. So first time I ever seen that with a Toro, but I see the ones that they sell now. I was at the dealer after work today, and the replacement ones, they actually weld the outside now to reinforce that thin piece that gets coined. So now it's like a solid piece. So the new one should last. Hopefully no callbacks on that. Yeah, they are junk. That's what everyone says. But the mower is in mint condition. So anyway, I'm just waiting for him to pick that up. That was the guy when I was live yesterday. He rang my doorbell when I was live yesterday. That's what he dropped off. So that's ready for him to pick up. The other thing is a John Deere 160, which is a Kawasaki 16 horse vertical engine lawn tractor. And the brakes weren't working. The outer brake pad on the Peerless was missing. There was no outer, was it? They call them through. Yeah, that's right. The outer brake pad, there's 2 like brick-shaped pads. The outer one was missing. It wasn't there. I don't know why. The brake disc was frozen onto the splines of the output shaft on the transmission. So without that disc allowed to float, the brakes wouldn't work anyway. I had to pry and WD-40 and take a puller, and I finally got it off. I soaked it in Evapor Rust. I got it cleaned. So today I put it together nice and free with some anti-seize, and it worked perfect. Adjusted perfect, worked perfect. So I got that going. That's done. The only problem, the nylock nut that's on the adjuster was kind of worn, so I put a jam nut on it to keep it from backing out. So Anyway, that was done. But then the fun part, 38-inch deck on this thing, deck from hell. The belts, 2 belts, a main drive belt that's just a direct drive to a jack shaft. And then the jack shaft has 2 pulleys on it. The secondary pulley goes to the 2 spindles and 2 idlers. And it uses a spring like you'd have on a 55 Chevy hood. I mean, a huge, huge coil spring. And that's how it tensions the main belt. And it also, another one tensions the deck belt. So got it all together. Took me a while. Got it all together, put it together, hit the electric PTO, belt slips off. I'm like, what the hell? So I got underneath there. I'm looking. So I put it back together, try it again. Belt slips off. So take the deck off again, second time. Yeah, they're nice. They runs absolutely gorgeous. Runs great. Kawasaki engine's phenomenal. Anyway, second time, took the deck off the second time. I'm looking at him, saying, what the heck's going on here? Okay. So making sure everything moves and everything, and I'm looking, I don't see anything. Then I noticed the arm that holds the idler was bent up. So the belt was tracking toward the bottom, was grabbing the ridge and riding off. So the minute I hit it, rode right off. So I bent that back to being parallel with the deck surface, and that worked. So I put the deck on for the third time. Third time was a charm. It worked. I cut my lawn. I cut my neighbor's lawn. She's a single mom. And parked it. And that's when I listened to Matty-O with his stream for about 10 or 15 minutes till he ended. And then dinner time, and now with you guys. So that was today's guide. There's no belt guide that I could find, Lucky. I can't find a belt guide for it. There's a piece. There's an actual piece that looks like an L, like a guide. It would be to hold it in. But if you look at all the schematics, I looked at all the drawings for this deck, it doesn't show one. Every single piece that's on the parts list for this deck is there. There's not one piece missing. So I don't know. I think if the idler itself, if you don't have it perfectly parallel and it tracks a little this way or that way, it's going to fall off. So anyway, it's working good. If there's a belt guide for that series of mower and someone has a picture of it, please send it to me, because the owner took this thing apart. There's a piece, like I said, shaped like an L with a little thing like this. It looks like a pulley, like belt guard to keep the belt from moving off the pulley, but it doesn't fit on any of the pulleys. The center distance from the hole to where the belt would be, it doesn't fit on anything. So I don't know where it would go. I don't know where he got it from. I'll talk to him tomorrow. But if anyone has a picture of this 160, 70, 80 series decks that shows that, I looked, did image search, I did YouTube search. I couldn't find anything that showed that. Everything that I did was the way it's shown on the parts list. Bruce Pender even has one, and he did his deck over completely, and I looked at his, same thing. So nothing that I could see. So it really behooves me, because normally, especially on newer decks, they all have those black pieces of steel that go up that keep the belt. You have to take off the piece. It's usually an L shape, goes from underneath a pulley or a sheave, goes up to keep the belt on. This didn't have anything like that. It's older. I mean, the thing is 1980s, I believe, 83, 84, something like that. But anyway, if there is a belt guide, I don't know about it. Oh, what's up for tomorrow? Buddy's bringing over a Cub Cadet 123 hydrostat from 67 or 66, I believe, that my other buddy bought. So I have to rebuild the carburetor and get it running. So I'll do that tomorrow. I've got to do a plastic insert on an X100 Deere deck for mulching that requires drilling. So that's another project. What else? I have a governor on it looks like a DR weed trimmer, but it's made by Craftsman. But I have to do a governor on that because the Tecumseh was over revving. So I have to take that engine apart and do that. Take where the pulley bolts on the center bolt on the pulley, fabricate. Yeah, no, I could do anything. But the guy who owns it, nice guy, but cheap as the day is long, you know the story. I don't want to go crazy because I'll never recoup, At this point, by straightening out there's a bracket that looks like straight down, then like this, and there's a shoulder screw going through. That's the main idler bracket. It was actually bent up like this, so that the pulley itself, the belt was hitting the bottom pointy part of the idler. So it was going to fall off. So once I bent that back, I cut 2 lawns with it. It seems fine. And I tried all the different height adjustments too. So I think it's fine. It's just that the extra bracket he gave me, where the hell's it go? I don't know. I just don't know where it goes. So, yeah, I mean, if it happens again, if he calls me up and says, "Oh, Bill, yeah, I'll fabricate something." But at this point, it's together. I tried it, worked, did 2 lawns, spent an hour with it. So I'm just going to leave it, collect my money, and hopefully everything will be fine. What he had on it was a 3/8 section belt, where it takes a 1/2 inch section belt. That's the reason the belt never came off, because with the 3/8, it would never travel far enough to fall off the idler. With a 1/2 inch, it's a lot wider. So it obviously would track, a little bit lower with the bent. And I think when he took the deck off, he grabbed that to pull it, and I think he bent it up too. So, anywho, done. Those jobs are done. Yeah, that Tecumseh with the governor, the governor, the spool, and the base gasket. I have to do that tomorrow. That's another one. The guy was asking me today. He wants to do his weeds. Oh, I was telling you guys yesterday, I fixed that tiller that had the frozen piston. The rings were frozen or whatever it was. I got a little mystery oil, freed it up, ran it. Actually ran pretty good. I got the gaskets today for the carburetor, the 3 gaskets. There's a fuel pump diaphragm, the base gasket of the carburetor, and the one that goes into the block. So I'll replace those tomorrow and hopefully get that going. Yeah. If it works, ship it. Taillight warranty. Once you see the taillights, warranty's up. But no, I stand by all my stuff. There's a guy at work today. He says to me, "Hey, Kenny, you work on mowers?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, my brother-in-law." "Yeah, yeah, okay." And then about 5 minutes later, he comes up to me, "Well, he doesn't really want to spend a lot of money." And I'm saying to myself, "Oh, here we go. He's already starting out with, can you give me a discount?" Guys, I am a discount. I'm half what the dealers charge, if not less than that. I pick up and deliver, and I work on weekends. Get that from a dealer. How's that? You're not gonna, Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The guys that call me on a Sunday morning and they say, "Can I drop it off?" And then they say, "When can I have it?" If it's a slow Sunday and I'm not really doing too much or anything and it's a quick job, I'll do it. But if it's a Sunday and they want to drop it off, say, "Drop it off and I'll call you on Monday." It's amazing how many people will. One guy, I'll never forget this. He came by with a mower and it needed a seal, the upper seal on a Toro. It was leaking like crazy. And he puts in my driveway and he's standing there. I go, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Aren't you gonna fix it?" I go, "Yeah." I said, "You want me to fix it now?" He goes, "Why, you can't?" And I'm like, number one, it's Sunday. Number two, it needs a seal. And I don't stock every single seal in the world because there's about 4 million of them. I have to order the seal. It takes at least a few days to get the seal. "Oh, I thought you had it." "How can I have it? You just called me an hour ago." So sometimes people, you just want to go, "Ba-doom." Oh, crazy. Just crazy. And it's funny, the people that don't have any money, and there's the people that don't have any money, are the ones that tip you. So it's funny. I have a lot of customers who will only pay me with checks, and I don't mind, but I'll usually charge them an extra $5 because I have to hold my funds for 3 days. Okay. And I got to go to the bank to cash it. So that's time, money that, it's worth something, but unbelievable. Sometimes people. And I have another friend of mine. He says, "Always build the tip into the bill." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, if you could charge $100, charge 115." He goes, "Build the tip in." I said, "Well," when I first started, I was really charging low because my wife had been laid off, and we needed the money. So whatever job I took, I had tons of customers because I was cheap. I was charging like $10 an hour, But I'm going back 20 years ago. But I figured under the table all that stuff. But then I'm saying to myself, the reason I have all these customers is because I'm so damn cheap. So I started raising my rates, and some guys were like, and I say, "Hey, go where you want." People say you get what you pay for, but I think I'm a little more value added than that, So, and it's tough working on every brand. Someone brings you something that you haven't seen before, especially with some of this new, Chinese stuff, and they expect you to know how to fix everything. I was like, "Look, I'm not a dealer. I don't go to those tech schools. I just learn what I can by doing it. I'll surf the web or whatever, but just experience, and, my engineering background, I could figure things out." So anyway, just you two still, James and Lucky. Lucky, you said you were what, Rhode Island, right? Yeah, ring their neck. Oh gosh. The best though was when the guy accused me of breaking something on his mower a year and a half after I fixed it. He literally called me up and said, "Yeah, you just fixed it a couple months ago." I said, "Really?" So I went back online and I looked, and it was literally a year and a half. And I told him, I said, "This is the date you came." I said, "I have it on record." "Oh, you must be mistaken." He said, "No, I'm not mistaken." I said, "Here it is on record." And I said, "Actually, I remember you gave me a check. I can go back and look at the check receipts and they find the check." So he didn't like that. I said to him, "What do you want to do?" It was the brake on the flywheel on his push mower. He said when he lets go of the bail, it used to take like do, and then it would shut off. Now it's do. It takes like an extra half a second. So he's like, "Oh, you screwed up my brake." I'm like, "Dude, year and a half ago I worked on this thing. You've been mowing with it for a year and a half. I think the brake pad wore a little bit in a year and a half." Anyway, sometimes people are just crazy, you know, just crazy. But hey, James, I see Maddie. What was he doing? Rebuilding something for that kid Mason, an 064. What was he actually doing to it? I didn't. I only caught the tail end 5-10 minutes at the end when he was on. Lucky we got a buddy of ours, Matty Olson. He's a dentist who loves chainsaws, and he rebuilds them and hops them up and things like that. So we he had a live stream on maybe an hour ago, and I just caught the tail end of it, and I was just wondering what he was working on. One of the kids, we were at a chainsaw get together in Norwich, Connecticut, which is closer to you, on Saturday, and we had a great time. And this young gentleman, I guess, inquired about Maddie maybe doing something with one of his saws. So Maddie had a video live stream he was doing, and I saw the saw there. We call Steele's creamsicles because of like the white and the orange. It looks like a creamsicle. So I asked what size it was, and he said it was an 064, which is a big saw. But I'm just curious, James, as to what he was doing to that saw, because I didn't really catch much of it because I caught the tail end of the stream. Uh, there you go. Actually, I got a guy coming here from, I'm trying to think, New Hampshire or Vermont next week, the beginning of June. He's bringing me down two Kohler K341 16 horsepowers out of John Deere tractors because Kohler K series is my passion. That's what started me out. And he heard from the grapevine that I really did good jobs with those. So he's actually going to bring down two of them for me to rebuild. So that'll be fun. Oh, Tab Nelson broken, but I hate broken bolts. And nowadays, galvanic corrosion, aluminum heads, steel screws, all that. Oh, what a nightmare. You know? Oh, that's one thing. I mean, I have a Bridgeport and everything, but unless it's something small, doing it by hand is a pain in the butt, especially, you don't want to take something apart to have to take like a cylinder head or something to have to take it out of a car. So you're sitting there with hand tools and right angle drills and everything else trying to get to it. Oh, the only thing I could say to that is, charge accordingly because, the customer will say, "Oh, why'd you break the bolt?" And you're like, "Dude, there's 100,000 miles on this car. You're in the middle of New England with snow and salt and everything else. Stuff's going to, do that." Oh, that's what he was doing. I'm sorry, John. I thought Lucky was said that. Tapping on. Oh, he was. What bolts were broken in the 064? What was it? Case bolts or something? Because that saw looked like it was new. That saw looked almost new. Was that Mason saw he was working on? Interesting. I know Maddie's had some good luck with the Husqvarna cases where he's had to drill out and helicoil some of the holes in the magnesium cases. He did some nice jobs too. So I'm about 50-50 with that, depending on if I'm doing it by hand and if I get a good center drill on it, But yeah, I want to try some of that. What do they call it? AlumaWeld. That's you could take like a map torch and use this rod. It's almost like a silver solder rod, and you could patch just about anything. I don't know how to work on magnesium though. Magnesium's kind of funky, dangerous too. But 316, yep, K341, same engine. I got to do two of them. I've done literally hundreds over the years, and I know those like the back of my hand. And I have parts to rebuild just about anything on those engines. Especially the correct carb for that would be a number 30 Carter Model N. But some people use the newer Walbro. The problem is they don't have a lot of the adjustments. But now, if you notice, China, they're repopping the Carter Model N number 30 in China for $25-$30. So I haven't tried one. I'm going to get one tomorrow with this cub that I'm getting from my friend. So I'll see how it compares. The only thing I hear is that the casting, the zinc that they're using, I mean, the American ones were made from an alloy called Zamac 5, which when it molded in a die cast would form a skin. It would protect it from, ethanol and gas and all that stuff. The Chinese materials, I hear, because of the ethanol, they break down a lot quicker, and the bowls rust out, and the inside zinc doesn't last that long. It gets white and powdery quickly. So that's all. You rebuilt the engine or the tractor itself, or both? Because the 316 is a nice tractor. That's single hydraulic or dual? I'm trying to think. One lever or two on that one, on a 316. Because the 318, I love those. And the 140 is my favorite Deere with the triple stick. Love those. With the K321 14 horse. I probably have 13 or 14 K-Series engines in my basement in various states of repair or disrepair, waiting for customers to say, I want one. I've got wide base, I have cub base, depending on what the customer wants. Pistons, everything, heads, rods, all that stuff. Hey, Boneyard, what's going on? Small Engine Nation. Long day, just catching up with a couple friends, that's all. But yeah, if anyone needs Kohler K-Series work, somebody actually was asking me if I had a K341 that I wanted to sell. I forget who it was, but I think I don't know if he's putting it in a cart or putting it in a Deere tractor, but he wanted a wide base K341. And I actually have one that I got off of a friend's wheel horse. I got to look and see. I know I have one. I used to go around years ago when I first started and just pick up carcasses, K-Series carcasses, complete K-Series engine for $100. Usually with a blown rod, but complete carb and everything, coil, all that stuff. The Cubs were nice because the Cubs actually had the gas tank on top, built on top of the motor with some straps and a bracket. So you could take the whole thing, put some cap screws on the oil pan, let it stand there, and run it like a test stand. It was pretty cool. So, anywho, I think maybe tomorrow's stream, I will look at the plug on the 346 that I raced with last week at the get together, see how that looks. I'll do a compression test because we found some scoring, and do a pressure and vacuum test just to see. I paid $200. I don't know what I paid for that one. That one I paid $100 for at the Zagre Farm Show in Colchester. So that was pretty cool. On your Facebook, you have pictures of what, the 316? Yeah, 2-stick. Yeah, it's nice because the Deeres actually had better steering, even though they both had Ross steering boxes. The Deere linkage was set up geometrically better, so you could almost take a suicide knob, one hand with a John Deere 3 Series, and just steer it all day long. It just had a better steering geometry than the Cub Cadets had. I mean, I like the Cub Cadets because I was an International Harvester guy, but interesting as far as the way the Deeres and the Cubs compete. I said to people yesterday, too, if anyone's interested in International Harvester, the Red Power Roundup is coming up, I believe, in a couple of weeks. And this year it's closer to the East Coast in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, at the Bloomsburg Fairground. So I'd love to get out there. I haven't been there since, I believe, 2004 or 6. It's been a while, but they don't have it this side of the country too often. Usually it's in the Midwest. But if you guys are into International Harvester at all, great show to go to. It's the annual Red Power Roundup. Anything International Harvester is at that show. So, oh, you got it today? That's cool. That is cool. You'll see the signatures, James. I just I just do my initials, KAW. So that's what I normally do. And it's funny, growing up as a kid, people would always tell me, you got the best initials. I go, what do you mean? I loved Kenworth, so KW. They're Kenworth, and I like Kawasaki motorcycles, KAW. So it was kind of funny growing up. My initials actually made it to something that I enjoyed. You got a spare K for it? Yeah. Yeah, I actually have an NOS K341 that a buddy of mine found in a basement of a power equipment shop. It had been sitting in about an inch of water, so just the very bottom of the dipper and the bottom of the block have some surface rust on it, but I could dip it in a vapor rust or vapo rust and get that off. But all NOS, all original. Everything on it is totally original, head and everything, full long block. And I think I paid him $100 for it, but I'm going back 20 years. So, but anyhow, yeah, the only thing about the old Cubs, I love the old stuff, but the older ones pre Quiet Line had starter generators instead of the Bendix starters. So that's a little bit of a pain in the butt. I like the Bendix ones better, but you need the wider frame. So the original Cubs all had the narrow frames, the original ones up until the 8-9 series. So anyone ever wants to talk Cub Cadets, I can talk the old ones. I could talk about those all day. Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, the thing performed pretty good. It really did. That Dave Young did clean his clock, but then again, he had a 15,000 RPM screamer. So, and I think from what Matty said, that was, I forget what the brand was on that top end. He told me Wonder something. I don't know, but he did a good porting job. I mean, the thing sounded great and it did perform. So you should have fun with that thing. But anywho, all right, what else? Just the three of us. Boneyard's still there? What's going on in your garage, Boneyard? Anything? Like I said, with me, it's mostly customer stuff, but like anything, I'm the small engine guy, and I probably got the worst condition equipment of anybody because I'm always working on everybody else's. Just like the painter has the worst painted house, and the mechanic has the worst car. So, oh boy. Well, if no one has anything else, we got still here working on a couple of go-karts. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I could always afford the kind of stuff that's given to you. It's funny. I was talking to a guy the other day about, what to charge and things like that. And I said to him, I really believe in the barter system. When I look on Craigslist, I see, bartering. Oh, there you go. I see people bartering, and I'll never forget. I fixed a saw about 6 months ago, and it was a $45 bill. And the guy says, "You like seafood soup?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, how about instead of cash, I give you $45 worth of seafood soup?" Turns out his family was from Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. They had their own business selling fresh seafood soup from Chesapeake Bay, and they were trying to market it in Connecticut. And that's why he was up here. And I got 9 cans of seafood soup for fixing a saw. So I like to tell that story because I believe in barter. I mean, if someone says to me, "Hey, you need your countertop fixed, fix my saw." Okay, I'll do that all the time, So I hope they're not closing because of me, because I've been up since 4 and I worked till 8. So, and I came and had dinner and then I did the live stream. So what was the deal with Mason, Matt? You were just doing some, removing some, what was it, bad threads or something, some stuck screws or what? I didn't catch any of the stream because I was working. So by the time I got to it, I just caught like the last 10 minutes. So was that his 064 he brought up? Curious. Nice saw, nice looking saw. James says, I guess he got the 350 the day he got out of the hospital, so that's nice. Like James, you could actually take some alcohol and wipe off my initials, because that way you'll have the Matty Olson version. That'll be worth a lot more. So with mine, you got to deduct $5. So anyhow. Oh, Maddie, did you put decals on it? I don't know. You had said you were going to put decals. I didn't see. Did you? Do you ever get the decals for that saw? Did you put them on? I got to go on that sticker site and design something up, because people are always asking me for magnets or stickers to put on their boards or their toolboxes. Yeah, Maddie must be comatose. Yeah, late night for me. Oh, I was on eBay. Guy had a 350. He wanted 125 including shipping for it, missing a side cover, said it had compression. And I said, yeah, like I need another 350. So I offered him $70. He's like, no. Comes back with 115. I was like, no, because I don't need one. I told him I had 4 already. I don't need another one. So we went back and forth 3 or 4 times. But finally I said to him, let's meet. I said, my wife doesn't want me to spend any money, but let's meet, somewhere. He wanted finally 100. I said, meet me at 95. So he emails back 115. I'm like, what? Going backwards. So I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, 95, including shipping, I think that's okay. I'll pay that. But I don't know. I tell you, Boneyard, if you don't have 1,000 subscribers, you need to use either a PC with a camera, or what I did, I went out and bought this thing. It's an actual Chromebook. I went to Best Buy, and it's a Google Chromebook by Asus, or Acer, ACER. It's called a Chromebook 15. They had it on sale for $159, and you can't beat that. It's not a PC. Doesn't have a hard drive in it. You can't do a lot of stuff with it, but you could do YouTube, you could do Gmail, anything that Google does is on this. But as far as storage, it's all on the cloud. There's no hard drive or anything. So if you want to store anything, they give you X number of gigs free storage. It doesn't cost you anything. You just have to have a Gmail account for email. And we have those accounts anyway because we signed on to YouTube. So we have the account anyway. All I'm saying, for $159, I'm using the camera on this thing to do my live streams. I can always take my phone and record and upload off the phone. That's no problem. But Maddie Olson got me into doing these live streams. I just enjoy them so much. And when they did this 1,000 subscriber minimum, I was like, oh, crap, what am I going to do now? And then I didn't want to spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a PC. So I saw this thing and I was like, let me buy this. And it worked out well. All right, Lucky, take care. Hopefully I'll see another live stream. Hopefully all the Volkswagens are running up in Rhode Island there. Anyway, but yeah, I love this Chromebook. You can't really edit much with it, but for doing the live streams and stuff, it's pretty good. I got to put it down on my bench in my shop tomorrow, maybe do a live feed working on something. My problem I have lately is I'm working on so much stuff, but to try and hold the camera or do this or do that, it's just too much. Especially when a customer's yelling, I need it, I'm rushing around, So, anywho. All right, guys, it's been over a half hour. I'm tired too. I got to get up early and start fixing more stuff. So, tomorrow I'll be on. Oh, somebody else sign on? I just see another person sign up. Who else is here? Lucky's gone. You got Maddie, Boneyard, James, and one more. Who else is there? Probably my buddy Wayne. I know my buddy Wayne is watching incognito. He won't sign in. He won't go on. But I know he's watching because he told me the other day he's watching. So anyway, that's okay. So, all right. That's going to be it for me, guys. Take care, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Maddie, get some sleep. I'm going to get some good sleep. Hopefully tomorrow's another day. Hopefully it'll be good weather. And yeah, definitely look into Chromebook because it's easy for the live stream. It's great and it's cheap. Like I said, you go online, you get them on Amazon, get it delivered in a couple of days, $159. So, all right, guys, that's it for me. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.